Hello, guys.
What's up, notjust developers? Welcome back to our stream. This is not part one, this is not part two. This is actually the same video that you just watched. So we're gonna wait for a second until everyone rejoins, and then we continue the Reddit clone. Uh, yeah, things like this happen. The software that we're using just crashed, and we stopped in the middle of the screen. Maybe Lucas, you can go on the presentation and share with us really quickly, like remind us what are we building today, what we
Today,
managed to build. Yeah,
yes, okay, perfect.
quickly.
Like this. So today we were building a Reddit clone. So far it was going pretty well. We managed to build the full home feed and we were about to implement our authentication screens and the whole logic behind it. Well, we had some interruptions, but as Vadim mentioned, it happens. Sorry for everybody. But yeah, we'll be building the authentication screens, and we will be doing that with Clerk, our sponsors of today's video. We'll be showing how easy it is to do that. As I mentioned, we only have 8 steps or something like that to finish the whole authentication flow. So I really want to showcase that, and think we can go on and start. No, how are
Yeah,
people
people are
joining?
already rejoining, I see. And later on, we most probably are going to combine them together.
Yes.
But yeah,
Hopefully that's not going to happen again. We'll see. So, okay, let me continue building. So, as I mentioned, what you need to do is go to clerk.com. And if you don't have an account yet, create a new account. And once you do, you will be right away seeing this screen. Here, let's give it quickly a name. So Reddit clone. Hopefully it's gonna let me do again the same. And you select the sign-in options that you wanna use. Let's create application. Let's select Expo. And we'll be following here the guide, but let's quickly go back to our Notion guide. As I mentioned, we do need to install React DOM if you did not do that previously, if you did not select to also build for a web application. So let's do that. Let's copy here, go to our application. And in order to check if you already installed it or not, just open package.json. And in here, do command find and do React DOM. I do have it because before crashing, I installed it. But if you do not have it, simply paste this command, click enter, and you will install React DOM. Let's rearrange this a little bit. Let's go next. So what do we need to do next is install Clerk itself. So let's copy this command, go back to our code, paste it in, enter, and it should install it soon. Let's see what we need to do next. So now it is optional, but I highly recommend it installing Clerk types. This will we will be using this for better TypeScript support for the Clerk itself. So I think it's pretty good. You right away can see what functions you can use, and it's very handy. So let's install this as well by copying that command and running it here. Let's go back. And lastly, the last thing that we'll need to install is Expo Secure Store. We will see a little bit more explanation from Clerk themselves, like why do you need it. But basically, we will need it to securely store active users session tokens. So let's quickly copy it, go back, and for the last time, let's install that. After that, one more thing that we need to do is now restructure a bit our folder structure. So previously, we were let's go back to our code, close the terminal, close the package.json, open the source, and open only the app. So previously, we only had this one tabs folder, and then we had this layout. Well, now we kind of need to somehow separate the logic and have some tabs, some screens that will be only accessible after user logs in. So we need to protect those screens from unauthenticated access. In order to do that, let's create a new folder inside the app. We'll have group folder called protected. So basically everything that's inside here will be protected screens that are not accessible without authentication. So our tabs, all of the tab screens should be protected. In order to move this, just hover on it, drag and drop, and click move. We need to update imports for tabs, so click yes. And now we have all of the tab screens protected, basically, from unauthenticated access. So, of course, we also need some tabs, some screens that should be accessible easily without authentication. And those screens are, let's say, forgot password, sign in, sign up. So in order to access those, we'll create another folder inside app, and we will call this auth. So basically, we'll store here all of the authentication screens. Okay, that's good. So we're almost there, but what we need now, even though the tabs have the layout, we also need to create a layout for the protected tab, for the protected folder. So let's go inside here and create one more layout.tsx. We'll go through all of the layouts after implementation, and I will explain like why do we need this, why do we need that, and but for now, let's go back to our Clerk dashboard. So we already installed this. We already installed this as well. So let's go to the third point, let's say. And
can you zoom in a bit the screen? The page?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
And here, for the third step, what we need to do is simply create .env file in our root directory. And we also need to copy paste this key inside there. So let's go back to our code. Let's close this one. And inside here, basically select, press on the random place here, click plus file, and let's add .env. Actually, I pressed the wrong one. You need to press not a folder, but a file. So, and not inside an expo. Perfect. After a third time. You see, I even struggle with creating files, so it's okay sometimes. Let's paste this key. Let's close it. We will not need that environment file any longer. So let's scroll a little bit down. So for the fourth step, what we need to do is disable the bot protection. So bot protection is enabled by default for all Clerk apps, as they say, but it is not supported in the native app. So for that, we need to turn it off. To do that, simply go to attack protection folder. Let's open it here, and here unselect the bot sign up protection. Once you do that, simply save the changes and we can close it. Let's follow further. Now what we need to do is add Clerk provider to our root layout. So basically in our main layout, which is here, the layout that wraps everything in our app, we need to add some of the code here. In theory, we can simply copy this, everything, go back to our code, go to the layout of the app, select everything, and paste what we just copied. In here, it is not exporting, so what we will do is we will do export default function, root layout, and basically we have everything. We're importing the publishable key from the environment file here that we defined previously. We're checking if we have it. If we don't, we will throw an error, and if we have it, we're passing it to Clerk provider. Let's save this and let's continue further. As you can see here, Clerk is asking for you to install Expo Secure Store, which we already did before, but it needs it, as I mentioned, to store users' session token in memory securely. So we already did this, we can skip, but we need to do this part. In our root directory, we should create a cache.ts file and simply add all of this code in here. I will quickly, very briefly go over the code there, but will not spend too much time there. So let's go back here, create a new file, call it cache.typescript, and we paste in that code. So what we're doing here is we are creating two functions returning. One will be to try to get the token from the secure store that we will store, and basically to ensure that the user is logged in and we have the token for it. And the other function will be to save that token to the secure store to later be able to retrieve it. So yes, let's save it, and we will not use this cache anymore. Let's go back, scroll a bit further, and now we see that we need to update a little bit our app layout, the main layout. And actually the only thing that you need to update is passing the token cache. So again, you can simply copy this one, go back, select everything, paste it, and now it also has the export default, and it's importing from, no, now it has aliases, but we are not using them. So what we will do is we will be doing this and then accessing cache. Let's save it. And now everything is done and ready here. We're passing the token cache. Yes?
Sometimes you might not be able to copy paste it if you have like different code. So just pay
Yes.
attention at the line 13, because that's the one that was being added here.
Yes.
And line 14, or that one is a bit before.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
in theory, you just need to wrap it with provider and Clerk loaded from them. So it's pretty easy. Let's follow further what we need to do. And now what the only things that left are to make sure that users are redirected to the correct path, whether they're signed in or not, and create the sign in and sign up pages. So in order to redirect users based on whether they are signed in and redirect them to the correct path, what we will do is we will go back to our code and we will go into the in the protected and into protected layout, not the app, but protected layout. As you can see here, source app protected layout. What we will do here is, first of all, we will create a layout for it. So let's do export default function, and let's call it app layout. Okay. For now, what we will return is going to be a stack, and we will return it from Expo Router. As you can see, it's imported automatically. And in here, what we will need to do is, if we go to the documentation, add some code. So we will not just copy paste everything because it might be a little bit different. We'll follow it line by line. So first of all, let's copy both imports at the top. Let's paste it here, both of the imports. So what we need to import here is the redirect from Expo Router and stack from Expo Router as well as a hook once again for Clerk from Clerk Expo. A hook is like a helper function for us, and in this case, for us, it will help to determine whether the user is signed in or not. So after the app layout, the first thing that we should do is import this make use of this hook by taking is signed in parameter from it. Then, based on whether the user is signed in or not, what we will be able to do is redirect them to the correct path. So in this case, what we will do, we will change a little bit. If the user is not signed in, we will redirect them to the sign in page. This page does not exist yet, but we'll create it very, very shortly. So basically now we're completely done of protecting. Like, we could do one more thing actually. Inside the auth, did you want to say something, Vadim?
Yeah, this is a very standard guarding that that I teach in a lot of tutorials, where with the app layout, with the layout from the protected folder, we protect all the screens that are inside that folder, no matter how deep they are. Because in any screen that is part of a protected folder, when you go there, the first component that mounts is this layout file.
Yes.
Then it goes to the next layout file from another group. Then it goes lower to another layout file until it reaches the screen, and only then is rendering the screen. So just by putting like this guarding logic of checking whether it's not signed in, then you don't have access here, go away. This is a very stable way of guarding your application, and it will ensure that users won't be able to go there, even like from looking at how the code is processed from top to bottom. If it's not signed in, it's going to return a redirect. It's not even going to go to a render the stack with the
Yeah.
screens. So this makes it super efficient. And this use of previously, when I was doing the authentication myself, I was creating the context myself. I was having to teach like everything, but with Clerk, we just use this context, this hook use of that gives us access to data about the authentication, which is really impressive.
Yeah, and it's very easy to do. And as Vadim mentioned, so what it does, it first of all goes into layout. It's looking for the index file, basically the first folder it should go. So what it will do, it go app, layout, then it's going inside, let's say, where is it? Inside protected. Here, there's no index, so it tries to load this layout. If it's not logged in, right away go out to sign in page. If the user is logged in, it's gonna render this stack, which is gonna render the tabs, will render the layout, and we see here right away the index page, which is basically what's the home screen. So now it renders this one. But yeah, it catches it before even rendering this next stack. Like, I forgot to mention, the very good, Vadim, because that's very important to understand. Thank you very much. So yeah, now let's continue one more thing. In the auth, let's create another layout file, because we will need it there as well in order to, for example, if the user is trying to access, first of all, of course, we will have here sign in and sign up. But another thing is that if the user is trying to access these like routes screens while he is logged in, we also shouldn't really show them. We shouldn't really make them confused. So we will redirect them to the main ones. So let's do here, call layout.tsx. And what we'll do here is, again, we will create a layout. So export default function, and we will call it auth layout. And in here, we will return, for now, we will simply return a stack. Later, we will need to also adjust it a bit more for the styles. And just like we did before, we import use auth from Clerk. In here, we say is signed in from use auth. And in here, we have, again, if user is signed in, we should not show him these auth screens. So we will import redirect. And what we will do here is, just like there, we will call redirect, and we will say redirect to the home, not this, to the home screen, which is gonna be the index basically in protected tabs index. And yeah, now we have all the protections, all the of our routes as we were as it was explained here, and we can continue with creating simple add, sign up, and sign in pages. In order to do that, just as I said, in the auth group that we just created, let's create two files. One is going to be signin.tsx, and another one is going to be called signup.tsx. We can go in this sign in page, and it even tells you here at the top like the exact path where you need to import this code. So here we can copy everything for now. And in theory, you could use these styles because all the logic is already done for us here. Only some styling is missing because Clerk does not have native components, but for the web, they also provide a lot of native components that make it look very nice as well. So yeah, we created a sign up page. I think sign up, and then that's a lot of code. And then we'll also copy the sign in page, the step number 9. So let's go back to sign in, paste everything, save it, and that's it. We don't even need this for now, and we will. But what it tells you here, it's actually very handy also, because with these components, sign in and signed out, you can tell, okay, so this should only be rendered when the what's inside the signed in should only be rendered when the user is signed in. But if the user is signed out, we should render only this. So we cannot render this. It's pretty nice as well, a helper.
Yeah, for example, if you allow guests to use your application, you can render a sign up button in the header, and you can wrap it around the signed out component and show it only to users who are not yet signed in.
Exactly. Very good example, yes. And if he is signed in as here, you show his email or username. Yeah, so now I think we have everything ready to showcase our what we just created here. So let's run npm start, just in case I will also clear the Metro bundler. Let's open it and let's try to reload it. Postless. Okay, so something with the imports inside the index file. Yes, because we changed a little bit our structure.
I want some. I want you to say like it would be easier to use fixed paths like path
Yes,
aliases.
exactly. I kind of agree now a lot. Aliases, and I always agreed, aliases is a very good thing. That way we wouldn't had these issues. I just wanted to leave out. I thought it would make sense, but actually probably it made more sense to showcase the the aliases. But if you want to see how it's done, Vadim does it on every tutorial.
No worries. Just update
So
it here.
we will change a little bit where we can find our post list item. And we will
the
also
problem is that we created one more layer of
Yes.
folder protected, so we just have to add one more set of dots.
Yeah, one more set of these. I showed like the full path, but yeah, like if you add like this, it finds them, and now we can reload them. So let's try to reload, and voila, we see the sign in page.
Oh.
I agree. The styles are not, let's say, top notch, but everything is working. I will show just like that. I can, let's say, Vadim, do you have some sort of an email that you don't use?
You can use my work email.
Okay, so
Vadim at
because I do
notjust.dev.
Vadim, not just.dev, and let's say the password will be the same. So, okay, I think yeah, no. I will use Couldn't find your account. So it does
Oh,
not.
we need to create an account. You're trying to sign in.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, so sorry guys, it's correct. We don't have an account. I do have an account, but let's showcase how it is created. So let's click on this sign up. And I know what the problem, we do not redirect from sign in here. We changed a little bit the name. It's not like with a slash, but it's rather like this, sign up. So let's go to auth, sign up, sign in, I mean, and change here instead of at the end link ref instead of slash with the upper camel case. Now we can go sign up page, and in here we can give the email. Let's use the same password. Let's continue. And now it even has like verification right away for you. So in order for me to create an account, Vadim needs to tell me the verification code that he received in his email inbox.
How much will you pay for it?
We'll talk about it after the stream.
587
Yes.
265.
265. If we verify it and it's correct, we are in our application. Amazing. Just like that.
And will it remember the session if you reload the application, if you close it and open it
If I
again?
reload, it's right away here.
Amazing.
Even if I close fully and I go back, it right away knows that I am logged in and I do not need to log in or register another account.
Okay,
So
that's good.
everything is done for you automatically. Now to showcase the full flow, basically to log out as well, let's implement maybe a little icon here in order to log out, and that way we can style real quick the auth page as well. So in order to add here the logout button, what we'll need to do is go into tabs, go into layout, because why are we going to tabs layout is because we want to keep this logout in all of the screens. By the way, don't worry about this top header. We'll fix it very soon as well. So what we do now, we go in here, and instead of passing it to every screen one by one, a new icon on the right, we can define something that's gonna be applied to all of the screens in screen options here. So we say we need a header right, and we will, of course, it is like a function, and we will display in this header right an icon. I already have an icon prepared, so you can use another one, but I think this one is gonna be a good one. So now we have all of this, the icon. Let's for now remove the on press to see that it actually looks good. It looks okay, let's say. And in order to sign out, the only thing that we need to do is import use auth, again from Clerk Expo. And once we import this, the only step is taking from use auth hook, sign out, taking sign out function. My mistake. Equals use auth. And now let's pass to our icon another property on press, which means that when the user presses this icon, we will be calling sign out. So if we save this and click here, we are right away signed out. Just as easy as that, the whole authentication flow is done. Of course, we will not leave you with these kind of styles. Let's go to our guide and go back to taskboard and go to, actually, I'm not sure if I provided you with code for authentication. So We will do that. I will do that afterwards. I don't think I did provide you with the code because I thought we'll do it on the stream, but now we don't not really have much time. So what we will do here is, let me go to my preparation maybe, and in here I will copy, not very good, but yes, I'll keep you with all of these. I will provide you all of these styles once I'm done with the course inside this authentication with Clerk lesson, basically. But for now, we'll need to do. No, I did not pass the return. Okay, copy too much. Yeah, let's add this one here. And we need to import a few things. So one of them is touchable opacity, keyboard avoiding view, and platform. So I will explain about keyboard avoiding view a little bit later in more depth. For now, let's not focus on it. So, and touchable opacity. I think that's it. And also style sheet. Yes. So let's save it. And now you'll have this nicer looking sign-in page. You can adjust the styles as you want. But yeah, for now, this is going to be a basic example. And let's do the same for the sign up page, which is here. Let's change some of the styles. So let's copy. Now we'll copy it from here, from if, and paste it. And we'll import the same things, which is platform, keyboard avoiding view, and style sheet. Style sheet, yes. So I want to show really quick one also quick thing, because a lot of applications in their sign up pages also provide a username, and we will need it in Reddit clone as well. So in order to do that, we'll simply create another state. Maybe I'll create it from scratch, which again states, we'll talk later about it. Not sure if that's good like that, but yeah, I'm trying to fit. Yes, so we'll have a username, and in order to use this username, the only thing we need to do with Clerk is in the sign up from use sign up that they provide, we simply need to pass it down here. And now they will not only store the email password, but also the username of your user. And I'll have one more input here. So yes, just as easy as that, we have everything completely ready for the authentication. So if we go to sign up, I'll also want to change this at the top, like back button. And by the way, how are we doing with time? Not sure exactly. Think we lost Vadim once again. So let's add him back.
Finally, thank you.
Okay.
I'm back.
Yes, you are back.
Thank you very much. I
I
was messaging you everywhere.
I was very, very so yeah, LBS still has some problems with collab.
No. Yeah, the collab, this Streamlabs collaboration is.
Yeah, so as I said, we have everything completely ready for the authentication. Just as easy as that. So I was asking, how are we doing with time? I'm thinking if we should like fix the headers in the authentication or just go.
We are 2.5 hours in.
So I think we can show real quick, fix it out. So the one few things, because it's not a lot of things that we need to change. One of them is this header title is not looking very nice. And another thing is that if I go to sign up, this back button is not something that I like either. So to fix that, we just simply go, where is my code here? We just simply go to auth, app, auth, layout. And here, instead of returning the whole stack, we will do something that we already saw. We will, nope. We will do like this. And inside here, we will tell them, okay, so stack.screen for the screen with name, and the name is here in this case sign in. So we do sign in. For the name sign in, we will pass some of the options. And actually, the only option we want to pass is the title, which is going to be nicer sign in. If we go back here, we can see that it changed. And we want to do exactly the same for the stack.screen with a name sign up. And here we'll also pass the options. The only difference is going to be that the name is sign up. Okay, let's add here spaces. Let's save it. If we go here, we can see sign up. And we can go back to sign in. Everything is working. So I will use Vadim's account to log into our application. And
I'm useful.
And we will be able to continue working. Yes, I'm here. I can save the password if I want. I will not do that. So right away, we can see that the second tab appeared after I did some changes with the folders. And it appeared because, if you remember, we talked the layout with which returns a stack is gonna also render those headers right away. So in order to solve this issue, well, I'm not sure if this is an issue or not, but in order to solve this, we will simply pass in some of the styles in here. So now, instead of, we're also gonna open the stack like this. Let's do that. And now in here, we will say stack.screen, and the stack, which is called, which is called tabs in this case. So we'll say, I have a caps lock, which is called tabs. We want to pass some of the options to this whole like stack. And it's gonna be the only option, which is header shown. And we do not want to use to show the header. If we save it, it's hidden. And what it did, because it's this protected wraps around this whole tabs, it added this on top header. But now that we in this source app protected passed in this some styles to the tabs group, it hides basically the header there as well. So yeah, that's that. Let's go back to our lessons, and let's see what else should we do. Also, I just want to show, like, if you go right now to your Clerk dashboard and go to users, you can right away see your users created. You can go and check their emails, check a lot of information about them, like even the devices that they logged in, and many more. Like you have some actions that you can ban or delete users, log them. You have different settings for them. So you can also not only create the whole authentication, but also manage your users, which is also very valuable. But for now, that's it. Let's go back to our guide, and what we will continue on is the detailed post screen. So if we go to the presentation, which is here, the detailed screen is gonna look something like this. It's gonna the top part is going to look kind of similar. The header is of course gonna be different, and also Not sure if we'll add, because the comments is a separate, its own part in here, because it's a little bit more complicated to do the nested comments. So in order to start this, let's go back to our guide and read on what we need to do. And the first thing we see here right away is that we'll start by creating the ID.tsx file for detailed post screen. So if we go to our code, in source app protected, we'll create another folder inside here called post. It is actually not required to create this folder, but I like to keep everything organized, and that's why I will create it. And inside this
And
Yes.
also, I think you want it for the URL
Yes,
because
exactly.
you don't have like parentheses, and you when you go to a details page of a post, you maybe want like /post/ID.
Exactly. So we will say ID, and now you see something new, like completely. What is this ID? What are those brackets? And in here, I actually summarize it hopefully quite well. So the square brackets makes this a dynamic route in Expo Router, which means that if I, let's say, navigate to post 123, this page that I'm navigating to will receive the ID, which is the name inside, of 123 as a parameter. I'll show you how to get that from Expo Router. So it's actually very similar to how URLs work on the web. You go example, let's say .com, post 123, and the ID in the URL dynamically basically will determine the post that you want to show. So that's exactly what we will do. And in order to do that, the first thing that we will need to do is, of course, add something to this ID post file. So let's do again export default function, and let's say call it detailed post. Then we'll return. For now, let's return only a view. Again, let's make sure that it's imported from React Native. Close it, and we will also import here text from React Native. And we'll pass here, let's say, post detailed. For now, that's going to be enough. Now let's see how can we navigate to this screen. And here, very simple. To navigate to the detail post page, we simply need to add a link in the post list item. So let's go to components, post list item, and wrap everything here. If you posted my code from the earlier, you will have it already wrapped. If you didn't, the only thing we need to add is this link, which href, and we will say go to post, which is gonna be in protected, go to post, and go to the, basically pass this ID. So here we are passing, I accidentally, here this ID in the brackets is what we will pass here after this slash, basically. So we could here pass anything. So for example, let's say hello. If we save it, let's go back to the post detail page that we just created. And now let's think, okay, so we are passing it, but how can we receive this parameter? How can we take it? And actually it's very easy. So what we need to do is, first of all, import use local search params hook from Expo Router. And we go down here, we say const, and now we say, okay, what name should be the parameter? Basically, what is the name of the parameter we're passing? And the name we define here inside. So we will say we need ID. If you would say here, like, I don't know, turtle, it will not work because there's no turtle here. Like basically we're not passing the turtle. We're saying ID. So it needs to match what's inside the brackets. And then we say use local search params. That's it. If you want to see, if you don't believe that it works, let's render the ID.
And for example, you.
What?
Prove it. I don't believe you.
So let's quickly reload our application. Let's click on a path and we say post detailed hello. If we would change inside the post list item here to anything, not just dev, it also will change accordingly here, not just dev. But this
There is something
static
to
values like doesn't really help us now because it doesn't show us, okay, so what kind of post should I render? And that's why we will pass here simply the ID of the post. So if you go here, hover on the post, you can see that this post has an ID, which is exactly what we need. That's ID stands for basically identification, we can say, and that's how you identify it basically. So we would go to post.id. We can save it. If you go back and now click on the post here, we can see that ID is post1. And in order to see if it actually works correctly, we can open assets, data, posts, and see that the first post has an ID of post1. So, okay, so if we click on the second one, we can see that it is post2 and so on and so forth. So that means it is working. Now, if we go back here to posts, well, okay, we have the ID, but how do I know which one to render still? I only know the ID. Well, here we will implement right now with our dummy data, but later maybe we'll show you also how to do it, like the backend for it, and how to actually pass this ID to your backend, and so in order to get the actual post from there. But for now, the only thing we need to do here is, first of all, import the posts from our dummy data. So think of this dummy data as our database for now. Posts, and simply the only thing we'll do here is we'll create a new variable called detailed post. And these detailed posts, what we'll do is we say from the posts array, find me. So here we define, okay, when it loops through everything, how do here basically it gives, like I explained in the flat list, the object that it's looping through currently right now. So we'll say if this post with this ID, so if the post's ID matches exactly this ID from the parameters, that means it's exactly the post that we need, because these IDs here in the post, they always have to be unique. You cannot have two the same IDs, and you will never do. So if we console log real quick, detailed post, and if we save it, open the terminal, open one of the posts, we can see all of the data from that post. Yes, it doesn't look very nice right now, but we can see that it's actually correct post, because the title is why React Native is the best. And if we go to posts, the first one title is why React Native is the best. So we know that it works. Now we can use all of this data that from the post in here to display a proper looking post. So if we go back to our presentation, we can see that in theory, this here and this here does not change at all. Basically, we're using mostly the same things. The only differences are that in the detail post, we need to show what user is displayed, what user basically posted this. And another thing is this description. Even though it's an image, we should also show a description. Okay, so how can we achieve that? Well, very easily, as we did in the home, we will import the post list list item from basically from this components. We are importing this one, and we are saying, okay, so just render it here at the top. Well, and so you could think of, okay, so when should I create a component, or when can I when should I write my new code? So if you are repeating, or let's say copy pasting a lot of code, like we would do here, we would basically copy paste everything, like completely everything. And you imagine, you remember how big it was, the component to create. We didn't even manage to fully do here. If you start catching yourself that you're copy pasting a lot of code, that means you should make it a reusable component. That's a good rule of thumb how to think about it. There are like very, very small exceptions that it's very rare. So yes, and now if we hover, we see, okay, so why it's not, like why it's red, what's bad? And TypeScript is again helping us, saying property post is missing in type but required. So we will pass the post, and we can pass our detailed post that we just rendered. And we'll see what's the problem. But if we, no, if we save it, not quit it.
I think in this case, detail post might be null. And that's actually a very common use case. Like if you
Yes.
navigate to a link with an ID that hasn't been found in the database, that's a proper case and we should handle
Exactly.
it.
Yes, exactly. So in order to resolve this, and I actually explain it in the guide as well, what we need to do is we need to have an if statement. Basically say if the detailed post was not found, and as Vadim mentioned, you also need to do it even like if you're taking it from the database. If the detailed post is not was not found with this ID, we will simply return here, let's say a text saying that
Post not found.
post not found, and it will fix this issue. Exactly. So now everything, we look how quickly we managed to create this whole part. Now you might be thinking, okay, so we still have some parts that we are not displaying, like description and user at the top. So how do we go about that? Well, in this case, we will need to pass one simple prop in a post list item. We can call this prop, how did I call it in my guide? Let's see, to follow it with you, is detailed post. It's gonna be Boolean. It's gonna be called is detailed post. And that's it. If you could, in theory, you could pass, like write this equals true, and it's exactly the same as you would write like this. So it's up to you how you want to. If you want it to be a lot cleaner, it's like this. So if you say is detailed post, that means it's true. But if you want to have it as false, you would have to say it, specify like that. But I will keep it, let's keep it cleaner. Okay, so now because we do have this, and because I already, again, posted everything here for you, the whole solution for the post list item, you should already see this is detailed post, even in the post list item as well here. So why is it working still? Is because in the our tabs index, we're not passing anything, and we can see that the post list item is not complaining about it. And if we don't pass anything, that means that it is false. So it automatically understands, okay, if there is no property like that, it's false. So, but here, when we need to have it true, we need to specifically say, okay, so this in here where we import it, it has to have this parameter as true, and it needs to display data a bit differently. So yes, first, if you wouldn't have copied my code, you would see some complaining also in here, saying property is detailed post does not exist on type. So we need to go here and we need to explicitly add this is detailed post, and we need to add this question mark. This question mark makes it, basically tells that it is not required. So if someone does not pass when reusing this component, doesn't pass this is detailed post, it's okay. Do not worry about it. I know myself how to handle it, and I will handle it myself. So yes, and then we can import it here inside the post list item, this Boolean. Why did we import it? Well, first of all, as I told, we needed to display the username from the post only when the post is detailed. So for example, here you see that I'm not displaying the name, but if I go here, we are already displaying. And that's what this line of code does. Basically, we're saying if it is a detailed post, then please render this whole text, piece of text here. If it is not, if it basically would be false, then it will skip this line and not render anything in here. Basically, it will stop rendering here right away. Okay, perfect. So, but that's not the only thing that we need. There are a few more things that we need to render. So one of them is the description. We know that this post has a description. So even if we go to data post, the first post has a long description, but we are not showing it. So that means we need to handle it in here under content. We will go to the post.description and we will need to handle this. If you ask how to handle it, well, let's think about it. When should it be displayed? The post should be displayed, the description should be displayed when the description is there and when also is detailed post is there. So basically, if the detailed post is here and it is a description and you do have a post image, which is not going to work right now, then we should render. Okay, so if we would just simply do this, okay, now we see that we have the description, but let's go back to our main part, and for some reason it messed up, but you can see that it no longer adds a description because we're saying, okay, if it's detailed post, it has a description and it has an image, which is not the case. Like the second piece of post did not have an image, but we should display it here. So what we would, to make it easier to manage, go to the top and let's create two variables. Of course, you could just paste like the whole logic inside here, but we will need to mix and match a little bit the operators. And it is not a very good practice to mix and match. So for example, I could add here or post dot image something, and basically it means we're mixing the or and it's not a good practice. Like from
it simply gets confusing, and that's
yes,
it.
It is confusing. It is hard to read. So let's
try not to over-engineer stuff. Like it can be
Yes.
done there, but you're gonna get confused like tomorrow or maybe in 5 minutes.
Exactly. That's a fast way to say it. So we create a new constant called should show image. And here we're saying, okay, so we need to show the image if detailed post is true. So if it is detailed post, or if the post has an image. So this is, we're fixing only the image now. Because right now, let's say if you go here, no, I will not be able to display, but I'll showcase it later. So should show image will show it only when it is detailed post or the post has an image. So if we scroll down here, we can simply say here, change it to should show image for the image itself. But now you can see that it is complaining that the image can still be null. And in order to resolve this, in order to resolve this issue, what we need to do is we need to say, okay, so we need this to be true, should show image, and we also need to have post.image needs to exist, basically. So when you add these two, now it's not going to complain and it's going to display the image correctly. So now let's go back to the description. So we can say here another, like const should show description. And what we'll do here, description should be showed again if it is detailed post or when the post post does not have an image. So in order to say if it's false, we add a exclamation mark here. This means if it does not have an image, we also should display a description. And this is solely for the feed. So if we scroll down here to the description part, we can get rid of this part and we simply say should show description, and description is here. So basically we should show it, and we do have a description, then we display it. So now if we go back, we can see that this works. We have a description here. This one only has an image, but if we open, this one has an image and a description as well. I hope I wasn't too confusing. Maybe Vadim has something
No.
to add to clear it up.
No, you are not confusing. I just want to say like the attention to detail that you put into this build like is insane. Like I would probably take like a shortcut and simplify it, but you said like no, I'm going to actually do how Reddit has done it, and that's impressive. So I
Yeah.
hope everyone appreciates that.
Yeah, I'm trying my best. Thank you very much for those kind words. So yeah, I think we're good with like the detail post. As I said, we can display comments, but and in my guide, if you follow it, if we go back to the task board, I do have full code for it. As you see, it's optional, and we will skip it right now because it's kind of a complicated topic. We will need to work there not only with comments itself but they need to be nested. And another thing, we need to optimize it. We're using some performance optimization hooks like use callback and memo. So I hope I'll have some time in the future to make another tutorial and explain
Maybe we're
those.
gonna cover it during the backend part.
Or yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll cover it during the backend part because it's ready and
Yep.
I think you should see it. So yes, now let's go back to detail post and let's see if we actually finished everything. So we navigated.
Probably a
We
little bit on the header, but I don't think like
oh
we should go like too much in depth. Like
yes, actually for the header, I will not add all of these icons, but we can simply show how to change
color.
the background color exactly. So
That's
if we
fun.
go what
That's fun.
that's fine, yes. So if we go to our layouts, and if we go again, we need to go to the protected dot layout. In here, we will need to create another screen like above. So we'll say stack dot screen. We'll give it. We'll say which screen we're talking about, and in this case, it is post slash, and we are working with ID. Okay, let's close this. So we gave a name, and now we'll be giving some options here. So let's clean it up because there will be a little bit more options. I'll do this, and to clean up this tabbing, just click not command, but option, I think, shift F. So inside these options, we'll be passing a few parameters. First of all, we don't want the header to have a title. Very easy. Header title, and we'll say it should be empty. Okay, so what's next? We want the header to have orange this color. So we'll be passing header style, and it's going to be an object because you can pass multiple different styles. The only one we will pass is going
I
to
think
be
it's the whole like style shit you can pass it.
Exactly, you can pass the whole style sheet. We'll be passing only the color in this case. So I prepared this hex to have it as Reddit has. And one more thing that I really want to change here is that when you basically go to this screen, I don't want to have it like a simple transition. I want to have it closer to what Reddit has. And to do that, it's so simple. You just pass animation and pass what kind of animation do you want. And we want to fade from bottom. So now if you go back, you can see it's not actually fade from bottom, slide from bottom. But fade also looked good, to be honest. So yeah, if you select one, just as easy, that would change the whole navigation and how it works, which I like it that way a lot more.
Looks so good.
Yes.
But just a note here. I'm not sure if animations, if all animations are cross-platform. I know that some of
Yes.
them are only available on iOS, some of them on Android. So go ahead on React Navigation documentation under the stack, under animation property, you can read more about which animation is available both on Android and iOS. So if
Yes.
you're building on Android and you don't see this animation, that's not a problem. That's simply not available on Android. That's not how Android works.
Yes. I think I made sure to have it. Don't quote me 100% on this, but I think I was checking in
Yeah,
to have this
perfect.
animation on Android as well. So I think you should be good. Okay, so now that we have this, I'm not sure, should we fix like these or should we go?
I think we can move. What did you think to fix?
So one quick thing, only like to have header, back button, display mode. In order not to have this
Mhm.
tabs, let's have it as minimal,
Oh,
and
nice.
now it will only be an arrow. In my case, I added. Actually, it's
The
so
color, right?
yeah, like it's so easy,
Do you do that with tint color?
Mm, you give me a second. So if you go to the final code of this thing, you will find all of the options. So
Mhm.
I explained the main options, but let me quickly paste in like the reminder of the um,
Of the properties,
yeah, of the
options.
properties. So what we need to do is simply import the view from React Native and a few library and a few icon libraries. So let's say, what is it? Ant design. Then it is, let's copy material icons. And lastly, it is ant typo. For me, it's so hard to like skip through even the little details. Like,
Yeah, these small details makes it look so much better.
yes, and the icon library is
At Expo,
yeah,
how is
Expo
it?
vector icons, right?
Slash vector.
Yes, exactly like this. So now it looks
Phew,
like
perfect.
a different thing right away. And router does not exist. Yes, another thing that we need to add is very fast. So in Expo Router, you can take in router, and when you do that, we're gonna be able to call router to go back right away. So
Mhm.
basically, just like that, the whole back is handled going back.
Amazing. That looks
Yes,
awesome.
yes. So we are done with detail post screen, getting URL, finding, and here you can find full code without nested replies. Here you'll have it with nested replies as well. How are we doing on time?
We are 3 hours in,
Three.
but we can go even more, like if depending on how you feel.
Yeah, I think we can finish up. It's actually not a lot left. We can leave out the image picker and
Image picker would be a great opportunity to cover in the super base. So
yes,
if we cover the three next lessons, creating a post, I think the most important part is creating a post actually.
yes,
So
creating a
let's
post.
cover it and see how it goes.
Yes, let's do create the post real quick. So now that we have possibility,
Do a git
yes,
commit, please?
this
No
will,
problem.
yes, 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 I will need to get used to git add. While working on projects, it's kind of like always just do a lot of commits, but now I'm thinking like, okay, let's go, let's go. So now we implemented detailed post screen and actually authentication. Okay, so let's go to create a post. And as I said, for now we have a way to see all the post, to see the detailed post, to log in. So now what's left is to actually create a post. And it's not a lot of things that we need to do here. So let's go in here and read the guide, what we need to do. So first things first, we need to adjust the create tab a little bit, and I'll show you why. So if you go here, this has like the top bar and the bottom tab, but in the example and the Reddit how has it, they do not have the top bar or they do not have the bottom tabs, nothing. And like this kind of works as a screen model in a way, you can say. So in order to achieve that, it's actually not that difficult. So we go to, we can close this one, ID, everything, and let's go to source, protected, tabs, and create. We will work on this, but in order to adjust, as you remember, the tab and bottom, we need to fix the layout. So if we scroll here and find the create one, let's close this, we can pass some extra properties in order to fix that. So one very fast property, very quick, is header shown, and we already use this. We simply say that we do not show the header, and it's done. In order to hide the bottom tab, we say tab bar style, and we also, okay, it's a bit different, not just false, but we need to say that it should not be displayed by passing display as none. So if we save it, we can see that everything is hidden, everything is clear, just as we want. So now let's go back to create in the source app protected tabs create. And in here, we'll be working on a few more, let's say, things, a few more topics, let's say. So the first topic that I want to show you is the safe area view. As you can see in modern smartphones, like the screen have notches and status bars as here. So for example, we can still display things down here. We can even display things here, but we should not. We should be able to use as much safe space as possible. That's why it's called safe area view. So instead of a simple view. Okay.
I would say like we render things below the safe area that user shouldn't interact with. For example, if you have a background color, if you have an image and you want to display full screen, or a movie want to display full screen, that's fine. But for the user, if he has to interact with things like press a button or interact with an input, the rule of thumb is make sure you're using the safe area view, so you're not displaying a button below the safe area.
Exactly. Yes. So yeah, okay. And how do we do that? Well, it's very easy. First of all, let's import safe area view from React Native safe area context. Quite a mouthful. Let's go back and let's paste that safe area view from all of that, and just change your simple view with safe area view and closing tag as well. Now, if we save it, we right away have our create screen title where we want to have it. Just like that, it is fixed. Okay, we can see here that we are passing some styles because let's say we can pass style and let's say background color red. You can see that right now, this safe area view, it takes up like a very small part of the screen, and we want the whole screen, like in Reddit, to be white. So how to achieve that? Well, we need to say, first of all, that it should take up with a flex, like the full view. And then we can say, okay, so now we can change the background to be white instead of milk grayish white that it was before. And later we might add this padding horizontal, but I'll show you when and why. So now let's start building the actual design, the actual UI, as we say. So for that, I will need to open again my example. Okay, which is here. So first of all, what we'll do is we'll work on displaying the close button and the pause button. So let's go back to the code. Let's open here as well. and yeah, start working. So as I said, the first button that we will work on is going to be an X button that will close the this screen. So we will implement a new thing. I think we did not, maybe we did had it, which is called pressable. So what it is basically everything that we pass inside, it will make a pressable, like a button. So anything like text, views, huge components, you can pass it inside the pressable and it's going to be, well, pressable. So, okay, let's test it out. Let's say we want to display text, and this text will say, or actually, yeah, this text will say post. So if we paste it, then we need to pass to the pressable on press event. So basically it needs to know, okay, but what do I do when someone clicks on me? And we will say, just do console.error and say pressed. So if we save it now, if we click on this post, we can see that, oh, it was pressed. Perfect, that means it's working, and we can start working further. So what needs to be inside this pressable? Well, first of all, we need to add a cross to go back, like an X icon. And I will do it from, I already have it prepared actually, but let's import it together. Import and design from, and we'll say expo/vector icons, not zero. Yes, and let me take this one and paste here. Perfect. So for now we will not have go back, but we have this X. Amazing. So now another thing that we need to do is somehow have these two like in the row direction, and one should be here. Well, for that we don't really need to wrap the icon in pressable, because we can make the icon itself pressable. So we can move it out in here. If we save, they're still like the same, but in order to make them in one row, just like I showed before, we should wrap it in one view. They should be together in the same view. Let's close it here. Of course, I forgot to add closing tag here. Okay, let's close it here. We can highlight it, click tab, and now this view can have some styles. So those styles can be flex direction, and the flex direction is going to be a row, because we want to display them in a row. Perfect. Now they are displayed in a row. That's already very good. But as you remember, we want to display this post on the other side. So let's go style and do margin left, and we'll do auto to take up all of the space on the left. Amazing. That's good. We also want to align our items in the center, so that this post would be in the center with the icon as well. That's good. What else do we need? Of course, the post text has some more text. So let's start by styling this text itself, which is first of all gonna have background color, and it's going to be, where is it? I think it's this. Oh, it's gonna be simply white for now. But now when we, not the background color, but the text itself color should be white. Yes, and the background color will be kind of bluish. So for this one, I do need, I think it's this one. Yes, background color is bluish. This text will be font weight. It will be bold, not by bold. Okay, we will have some padding vertical. Maybe 2 is gonna be enough, and padding horizontal. Let's say around 5 or even 7. Yeah, something like that. In theory, Yeah, let's do it like this. So now we can see that these styles are getting out of hand. So let's, once again, a good practice in that case, it's to create styles component. So let's go style sheet, and we need to import it from React Native style sheet. So we'll say here, yeah, style sheet dot create, and let's add, let's say here, post text. And in here, what we need is to pass all of these styles that we already defined. Look how long it is. So we'll say styles.postText, and we can paste in here all of these styles and press Option Shift F to fix the indentation. Okay, you can see that the styles still remain the same. Now the thing is that we also need some borders radius to make the corners rounded.
Lucas, hello.
Hello, did Vadim? Oh, Denchik. Hello, this little doggy. So yeah, perfect. So we have already this done. So now what we can see is I talked about adding some padding, if you remember in here, padding horizontal. And it makes sense to add right now because as we can see, it's close to the border. So let's just do that. Let's add padding horizontal at 10, and now it looks a lot better. So if we continue further, what we need to do, so we have an, now we need to add a functionality for the back button. So we already did that, and as you remember with Expo Router, it's very easy. We will simply say router from import router from Expo Router, and we pass to the and design on press, and it's simply gonna be router dot back. Let's save it and let's see if it's working. Amazing, it's working. It's good. So now we have the top part done. Now we need to quickly create this selector. It's going to be functional, but right now I think Vadim maybe has something to say while I take a very short break.
Sure, go ahead.
So
I'm here with Danchik. We can entertain everyone. I like the comment, but Dim just did a slide in from the bottom animation. Yeah, my back is hurting a lot. I think it's way easier to actually be in the flow and code.
I am back, and I also brought my water. I really needed that already. Stay hydrated, guys. So let's continue, and yeah, like this. Okay, think once again some problems with Vadim's camera.
I'm back.
Yes, you are back.
Like right after you left, but it disconnected me.
So yeah, well, hopefully it wasn't that long
No,
for
no, no.
you guys. Okay, so let's quick continue. We'll be working on this selector, and let's go back here. And as I said, like to make it easier to understand where is what, we can add some comments, and I like to do that a lot. So here we'll say it is header, and now let's just copy this one and nope, paste it here, and this will be the community selector. Let's add some space and let's continue working on the community selector. Well, first of all, it's gonna be inside a view. The view will have a text, which is gonna say select a community. Of course, it will also have a small text. We could use an icon here for the /r, but let's use text. We'll learn a little bit more of styling, let's say. And let's save. So for now, once again, the same issue, we need to change the flex direction. So we go here, we say, so the flex direction should not be a column, but it should rather be a row. And now it's going towards where we need it to be. So now let's style the select community text, because it's gonna be very easy. We just simply pass the style and it's gonna be font weight. So now the font weight, you can also select it to be a number. So for example, if I pass 600, it's not gonna be as bold as having a bold text, but it's a little bit more bold. So yeah, let's keep it like that. And the R will have a few more styles. So maybe I will right away extract it, saying something like styles. Oh, I cannot. I need to, yeah, only one bracket, only one pair of brackets. Styles dot R styles. Probably not the best name, but I think you are better thinking names, so you can change it to whatever you want. So inside here, we'll pass some styles to this R component. Well, first of all, what it needs to be, it needs a background color of black. Okay, that's good. But if it is black, the background is black, what we need to do is pass the color of white. So now we can see it is displayed. Another thing is that it needs to have a little bit more space around it. So padding vertical should be a very, very small increase. So I would say it's only a 1. You can barely see that increase. But padding horizontal will be a little bit bigger, basically on the sides. So on the sides, we will add 5 on one side and 5 on each on the other side. This padding horizontal really helps out instead of writing padding left and padding right. Now it also should be a circle, as I see. So border radius will make it 10. Okay, it's getting where we need. Actually, I think it's exactly what we need. Oh, okay, maybe it is a little bit. Let's add also font weight, and it's bold, because I see that R is kind of big R. So now it is almost as we want. So, okay, we have these two, but we need to style their own container, because they have like a background and a lot more things around them. So in order to do that, because I already know it's gonna be a lot of styles, let's also extract them and say community container. Let's go here, create another one called community container. And hi, guys, if someone is still watching, comment out, do you prefer inline styles when I show, or yourself when developing, or do you prefer extracting them like this? Or it's like I do based on how long are they? But how do you like to see them when I code? That's probably where I'm going at the most. Okay, so for the community container, we will pass first things first, we need to make the background color like that grayish. So let's say background color, and I already have prepared a color, which is this hex. Oh no, I'm not passing it the correct place. Oh, I know. Okay. It's everything is okay. Because I did not pass here the flex direction. I removed it from there, but I did not add it back. That's why it's taking full space. But now it's good. So now we have this grayish color on the background. Okay, that's good. But it needs to be way bigger. So let's add padding 10. When you specify just padding without like horizontal, vertical, top, left, it will add around every part, like top, right, yeah, top, right, left, right, top, bottom. And then when we add this, what we need to do is, make it a little bit rounded. So border radius, we'll have, 20, that's good. And we need to have because they are so close to each other, we can pass a gap of, they shouldn't be too far. So 5 should be good enough. We see a little gap. And what else? Let's see. Okay, so from the example, we see that this should not be that long. It should only be the background at the, close it where the text finishes. So in order to achieve that, we will say that it should align itself to the start of their flexbox. So basically now, whatever it wraps only how much you have that text inside, basically. Okay, what else? Now I think what we need more is, well, first of all, we'll need another icon here, but maybe
Lucas,
it's
think about like priorities. Is icon a priority?
not really, but I can do it like that. But okay, yeah, it is not a priority. Let's leave it like that. The only other thing I wanna do right now is add some basically padding around it. Yes. So if we go to the community container, let's add not padding but margin, and let's add only on top and bottom. So let's add something like 10, or maybe even, okay, let's leave it at 10. Perfect. So now we have this selector as well, and we can continue further. And we will be working on the inputs. So let's copy this again, and let's say, okay, so what is the next thing? We'll be working.
Lucas, can you do Command B to open the sidebar so we can see styles? What styles? Oh, yeah, the styles are, my face is on top of the styles. And if you do Command B, like it moves them.
Oh,
Thank you for letting us know.
thank you, and
Maybe,
sorry.
yeah, like you can leave it like this.
Okay, let me see how far can I.
Now,
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So that means people are still watching. That's wow.
of course, people are
Big.
chatting here.
Yeah. So now let's work on the inputs. So first of all, let's import them. A component called text input from React Native. And firstly, let's just add it like it is. So if we simply add text input, you will not see much here. So let's at least pass, let's do it maybe here. Let's pass a placeholder. And the placeholder in this case should be a title. And you can see it here, like very small placeholder. Let's make it a bit bigger. So if I pass styles, and if I passed font size of, it should be big, 20, you can already see the title, but it also needs to be font weight. And I will add bold, not black, bold, like that. save it. Okay, it's getting bigger. And I will add around it all some padding. So I will say padding vertical, and we will add around 20. So to have some space here, and we will have on the bottom as well. Okay, so now we already see the title, and we can actually even type in here, but we also need to display another text input. This one is going to be for the body. So let's just do text input again. If we go here, we'll add again placeholder, and it's going to be called body text, and we will say optional. Yes, let's add one tab here, optional. So we will still pass, actually no, this here we don't need really the styles, it's good like that. Okay, so how can we continue? Well, as you can see, text input works, but now I will introduce you, if we go back, to a hook called useState. So in React Native, useState hook allows us to manage the values that can change basically over time in component. And I'll show you an example of when that happens. And when we use useState, it creates a state variable, which, as I say here, is like a piece of data that component keeps track of. And if you change that piece of data, they will change, re-render the whole component and change what you see on top. So for example, for a text input, when we are typing, it's showing you the letters. Or if you have a button that's let's say a marker, like a checkbox, after you click on it, you change the state of it, like from true to false, and it can be moving. So you can change a lot of things by re-rendering, or just keeping that data in the component. So for example, in this case, we'll use it for the text input. To after the user types in something, we need to keep this variable stored somewhere, so that when we'll work on the backend, and when the user clicks post, we know, okay, this is the text he provided, and we have it in the state for the title, for the body text, and we'll have it also for group, and later more. So in order to use this state, first of all, let's import use state from React, not React Native. We'll import it from just React. Let's save it, and at the top of our function, let's initialize it. So let's say const, open an array, and basically the first value you pass here is going to be the name of your variable for this thing. So for example, title, because we'll be storing the title here. And the second parameter will be the function you call in order to change this title stored here. So we'll call it set title, because we will simply set it. And then we do use state, and inside here we can define in basically what's the initial value it has. So I could say, okay, so initially when we have a title, it should be an empty string, or I could say it should be an empty array or an empty object, even a null, or you can leave it even like this. But in our case, let's keep it initially an empty string. And here we will pass also the type of this useState. So what kind of data it can hold. In this case, it should only be able to hold the string. If we pass here a number or a null somewhere, it will complain to us that no, the title has to be a string. So let's do almost completely the same for the body. So we'll say body text and set body text. We'll do use state. We'll make it an empty string, and it can be only a string, nothing else. Perfect. We have these two states. Now, how do we use them? Well, actually, pretty easily. First of all, we go to our text input, and in here we pass a value. So it needs to know what kind of value does it basically hold now. And it is going to be, the title will be displaying this title all the time. So we pass here the title. Okay, so now how does the title know when this value changes? Basically, how does it update the value? Well, it has another parameter called onChangeText. So basically, when you type in one letter, when you're changing the text, you will be calling this what's inside of this function. And for example, you could say just simple console warn and say pressed. So if we save and if we go here, if you, yeah, I cannot do that right now actually because we're always displaying this value. Basically, we're not updating it anywhere. So I'll show you right now how to do that and we'll see. So when we type in something, it always returns us here what's typed in. So for example, we can say text, and then we can call here set title with this text inside. So basically, call the set title from here at the top, from our setter, to change the value that we are showing here. So if we save now, and if I type in something, I will always see the thing updating. So before it was also updating, actually I was pressing, but I didn't do console error, I did console warn. But to display it, let's do pressed, yeah. And if I save it, like you see, if I press something, it's being console logged. But yeah, we do not need that. We need to call set title and pass this title. In theory, we can simplify this a lot. We can remove this whole part and remove this whole part, and React Native knows that everything that you get there in this text, just pass it to this function and that's it. So in this case, this text is always going to be passed to the title, whatever you write, and it's still working. To make it a little bit clearer for beginners, maybe I'll leave it like this, but you can just know that you can use it however you want. Okay, let's do exactly the same for the other text input, which is value, which is body text. So let's say body text, and then on change text, we'll have here text inside, and we'll be simply updating set body text with this text inside here. Perfect. We have two text components that are perfectly working like they should. Okay, that's good. So let's go back to our documentation. Here you can find more things about it. I'm explaining a bit differently maybe. The last thing I want to really showcase in this one is the keyboard avoiding view. When you use a text, you will most likely use keyboard avoiding view as well. Because even though right now it's kind of hard to showcase because the text is so small, but if you had a lot of text, it will go on top of, the keyboard would go on top of it. So it's not very good. We need to prevent that. And in order to do that, we can simply import keyboard avoiding view from the React Native. And I say in my documentation as well that you could use the keyboard avoiding view library. Even the Expo documentation suggests that if you want more customization, you can use it. Now that I talked, I have to tell you which one is it. Keyboard avoiding view. Go to Expo and yeah, like keyboard controller. So you would no, I think it's keyboard controller called. Maybe Vadim remembers it. Yeah, sure. This one, found it. So this, if you want even more control of your keyboard, this is a perfect library for that. It has a lot more things, but we do not really need it. We don't need that much configuration, so we can simply use this one from React Native. Okay, so now we imported it. How do we use it? And well, the way we will use it is, first things first. As you can see, this text is also, maybe I should actually have it, but it's gonna take me so much to copy paste everything.
Which ones? What do you think?
I want to showcase like why is that bad.
The keyboard?
Yeah, like how does the keyboard avoiding view works? Oh, another thing that I did not tell you about is if we type like this, you can see that it's going in one line. To fix that, it's like insanely easy, so I'm just gonna mention it quickly. Just pass to your input multi-line, and that's it. Now, if I pass to both of them and save it, you can see that it's gonna go a lot nicer basically, and you can
Yeah.
pay like type a lot more text. What if I would copy this whole code and
Yeah.
paste it here? Oh, amazing. So yeah, now if I open the keyboard, and in order to open the keyboard, you most likely will need to go to IO, keyboard, and toggle software, or just press Command K if you're on Mac. So if we go here, we can see that we do not see most of the text, and nothing that we write inside it is visible. Another thing is that how Reddit has, they are allowing you to scroll these, but they are keeping only the tab bar on top. So in here we'll be matching two things. Well, first of all, let's solve the keyboard avoiding view. And in order to do that, under this view, because we are trying to put the selectors and the text input, let's open the keyboard avoiding view. Okay, let's add some tabs, and let's wrap all the text and yeah, like this. No, not like this, like this. All the text and selector in here. If we select it, if we just save it like that, it's still not working because it doesn't know how to behave. That's why in here I also showed you that you need to pass the behavior. For iOS, it should be padding, but for Android, you can leave it undefined because it should in theory work right away with a default behavior. So let's just copy this part from the guide or write it with me. And let's go to keyboard avoiding view. Let's say behavior, and the behavior will be open brackets. So we'll say platform. Of course, we need to import the platform from React Native. So add this here. So if platform.os equals to iOS, then use padding behavior, not this. Then use padding behavior. Otherwise, so this is like an inline if else statement. This says if platform.os, then else is double dots. So else it will be undefined. So if we save right now, we can see that it already works a lot better. Not fully like we want, but a lot better. So we can, yeah, let's close it. Oh, no, not here. Close this one, go here. And yeah, we see some of the text. Another thing that we will need to pass to this keyboard avoiding view is style, and it's gonna be flex 1 to take in most of the screen. But you can see that it's still not exactly working, like, let's say, correctly. So what we need to do in order to make it, make it work, first of all, we will need to also add a scroll view here. So why do we need it? Is because in Reddit, well, it's maybe easier to explain after I add it. So let's go to React Native and import scroll view. And this scroll view should be inside the keyboard avoiding view. There is a library called something like keyboard avoiding scroll view or something like that, which you can also install and use it. But I wanted to keep the libraries as at the minimum for this tutorial. So let's do it this way. So now that we added the scroll view, we will let's say open the keyboard, and now we can scroll until the end of the keyboard, just like that. So basically what we're doing here, as you can see, sometimes it's messing up. So for example, I can scroll this one, and in theory I shouldn't be able to do that. And we can solve that very, very easily. The text input has a nice parameter or property called scroll enable. And by default, it is true, but we need to disable it. So if we disable it, it's no longer going to be scrollable. So you need to scroll the full page. But you can see there is the same problem with this text. So we need to do exactly the same here as well to disable this. So now it's going to be scrollable as one big view, and exactly like Reddit has. This is scrollable, these are scrollable. The only problem is this little bar here. It's not important, but I cannot leave it with it. So let's pass to scroll view one simple prop called show. I think it's vertical.
Shows vertical, yeah.
Yeah, and we say false. If we save it, yeah, we no longer see it. And maybe we can add some more padding on the bottom. I'm trying my best to, it should, let's say, padding of 10, maybe. Let's see. Okay, it's gonna be good enough. I wanted to add only vertical. And yeah. So yeah, now that we have this,
It's perfect.
almost ready, we can see that this lesson is in a way done, but we did not, of course, like we have these icons, but Vadim will not let me add them probably now. It's important to focus on what's important now. So yes, this is not gonna be that. So now there is one very small thing that we need to fix before we can go out of this screen. Like if I go back and if I click on create, I see that I have all of this selection. And very, very easy solution would be to create a short function called, let's say, go back. And we will implement, let's say, when the user is going out of here, we will set the title to an empty string. So this title will be empty string. We will set body text also to an empty string. And then we can router.back. And that means I need to change this. Instead of calling here on the quit router back, I will do go back. And then if I click now, go back to create, it's empty.
I think, not sure if that's a good UX. Maybe after you post it, after you create it to delete it. But yeah,
it depends. Like if you, yeah, like you, it depends on you. But Reddit removes it. If you go to create, if you leave something here and click the X, if you go back.
So mad.
What?
I'd be so mad to write something and then lose it.
That's also a valid point. I think in a real world app, I would also probably just leave it there. And then if the user wants to remove it, he can just remove it. But yeah, what Reddit does differently is if you have some text, they ask you like, do you really want to quit?
Okay.
So I don't have time to add this like pop-up, but yeah, that's that. So now it's almost completely like here, except for some like styles. And I'm thinking, should we go into the group filter selection? It's searching. It's how much time are we already live for?
We are around 4 hours live.
4 hours. So should we leave this for the backend?
No, I would say like we could do the group filtering. I just say like now let's hopefully everyone understood the basics, the fundamentals, and we can take it as a little bit faster.
Yeah.
and we can do the group filtering as well today.
Okay. So the last
Git commit?
things, yeah, what?
Git commit?
Git commit, yes. We'll do that. If you want to find, well, we'll show you later because we'll need to do some adjustments later in this screen as well. So let's do open. Yes. Okay. So now it's not fully done, but we'll finish it up in the second part. Now we can go into the group filter selection. So why we need this screen? So this screen is important, as you can see in here, to select the community that you want to post your post to. And actually, it's a very easy, like very fast. We'll do it very fast. First of all, let's create a new file called group selector in the protected folder. So right in here, click on it, new file, and let's call it group selector.tsx. So you can see here, I have it in the capital letters. Probably you can keep it like the same
Can you
naming
close with
convention.
tabs? Not sure, like the tabs folder, I mean.
I can I can close it. Yes.
Okay.
So now we have this group selector in the protected. So this is how it should look like for you. And here's like a basic component that you could start with, which will use the groups. I will do it here without really, without spending too much time on very basics. So let's group selector and return. Let's have it like this. And for now, let's return a view from, again, React Native. Let's import text again from, we should do it from React Native. And let's have it group selector. Let's save it. So now how do we navigate it to here? So as you remember, we go back to the create screen, and this select community needs an on press. And how to make it pressable? Well, it's simply wrapping it in a pressable component. We already have it imported at the top, so let's change.
Why don't you do the link?
Oh yes, it's actually a link because I even
you
have.
can do it like
Yes,
both are
but
correct and both are fine, but
yeah. Even in the example, probably I'm a bit tired already, but even in the
problem.
example, you have it with the link. So that's how you should actually do it. So yeah, let's do link from Expo Router. So
I think you'd wrap it around the view, so you still have a view.
yes. Let's do like that, and it actually even tells me. No, it needs a no. It does not tell me. It just says that it needs a href. Okay, so now we'll all pass this style not to the link but to the view, and we'll say here simply that the href should be where do we need to navigate. So we need to navigate to the group selector, and simply the name is group selector, so we do group selector. Save it, and it messed up a little bit, but we have a property called as child here, and what it does is basically it tells that, okay, I'm navigating, but use like kind of the styles, everything that's inside. Not sure.
As child, like in that case, the link becomes like a ghost component that is in the end not even rendered. It simply takes its property like the on press and sends it down to the child, which in our case is a view. And the problem is that the view does not have an on press, which the link depends on. So the link will try to, like a parasite, will try to attach to the view to the on press event to handle it. So it's not going to work right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope.
Yeah. because the link tries to give the view on press, it doesn't have, and that's why it's not working. So we simply have to switch it, the view, to a pressable, and then everything is going to work as before.
Yeah. So we do this, we save it, and yeah, I need to reload because after adding a new style, I did not reload. And if we go, we are in a group selector. Perfect. So now in here, if we go to the group selector, what we will do is, first of all, let's see how it is implemented. I think it is here. No.
The next
Here.
one, no?
Perfect. So again, it seems that it does not have the header, and it actually does not. So we need to go quickly to the layout. I'm not gonna spend too much time. It's the same, like stack.screen, and we will say that, okay, the name is group selector, and the options are header shown, which is, we shouldn't show the header, false. Yep, I made a mistake. Selector. Yes, the header is no longer displayed. So now if we go to the group selector, what we need to do is once again import the safe area view, wrap everything in safe area view. Safe area view. Let's do this. Nope, just safe area view. Okay, perfect. We have it there. Another thing is here we will need to on top. Yes. Yeah, on top we will need to implement a little header. It's gonna be a very easy one, so let's do that. It's gonna have and design icon. Let's quickly import it, and I have it here. Prepare the icon itself. Yeah, so it's gonna be an icon, which is like again back. So let's import that as well right away. Import router from Expo Router. We can go back, and the other one is gonna be the text, which is post 2. Let's save it, and now we see we have these two. We need to add some styles, not a lot, so we can do inline. First of all, flex direction to make them like one besides the other. Another one, we need to align them in the center, as you can see it here. Perfect. So now that we have these styles, we'll add a few more to the text because it needs to be aligned in the middle. So first of all, what we'll do is to see the changes, I will make it the background color red. And actually I wanted to make here red, not here.
The background color red is the console log of debugging.
Yes, probably you would never ever use it any other way. So first of all, what we will do here is we will also, no, not text align. We will make it so that, let's start with simple font size. And font size should be, I see, like a little bit bigger, but not too big, because I will also make it font weight bold. So maybe we can make it 16, not to waste too much time. Okay, 16, that's good. So now we will need some align it, text align, and we have center. And now how do we move it there is gonna be a little bit different. So for example, I can pass here flex of 1, and now it's aligned in the middle. But you can understand, like you don't understand exactly why it's here. So if I console log, yeah, no, it was
The
good.
comma.
Yeah, comma. So if I remove this flex 1, you can see that this post doesn't have a space where it can, like, this is the middle. It's in its container's middle. But if I add flex 1, it means it tells him take up the whole space. You are basically taking up full space of this like flex container. And now if I wouldn't have this text align, it would still be here. But when I say align this text in the center, it goes here and it adds himself in the middle. course, because we have an icon here, it's not exactly in the middle. So what we need to add is a little bit of padding to the right, and you could do it properly with dimensions, but we'll do it almost properly by defining a hard-coded value by saying, okay, I think here it's the middle. So let's remove now the background colors, and we can see that it is aligned in the middle. Perfect. So now this header is actually completely done. Let's continue to the search bar. For the search bar, let's create a view once again, and this view will have inside like a icon. Once again, from &design, I have it prepared. You have it in the Notion guide here, and also now we'll use the text input as well. So we'll learn how to use it. Also, the placeholder is, I think, just search. I know, search for a community. Okay, and now the color, I see if I save, it's not exactly correct. So let's do pass. So in order to change the placeholder color, you just pass placeholder text color, change it to a bit darker gray. And now we see that once again, they're not aligned correctly. So probably you already learned what flex direction does. We use it quite a few times here. Now they're aligned in the middle. Let's maybe do it like this. Okay, so text input, yeah, like this. Sorry, a little bit. Why placeholder, just like that. Perfect. Now we need some more styles. All right, so first of all, we add a little bit of padding. I see maybe it's on the top and bottom, so maybe padding vertical of something like 10. But before doing that, like we already see that, okay, something is not working here for the whole container, because the whole container needs to have a background color and more things. So now after we gave it here, we can give more styles. So the next style will be in the container. Let's do the background color, and I know we have a probably light gray is not the actual one, but it's gonna be good enough. This container needs to be rounded a little bit, so let's add border radius maybe something like 5 because it's not exactly like a box. Now we need, between these two components inside, text and the icon, we need a gap, and we'll make the gap something like 5. I would suggest extracting these files into styles, but I don't want to waste any more of your time, so let's write them inline. We need some margin on vertical axis, because here like it's very close, and I would say something like 10 is gonna be good enough. We will align both of the items in the center. That's how like we align the icon in this exactly in the center. And it's also too close here, and if we type, it's gonna be too close here, so we'll add some padding padding horizontal, and I would say it should be yeah, let's say 5, not a lot. So okay, that's that. So now let's see. Yeah, we need, the only last thing we need is to add some more here, padding on the sides. So to do that, let's scroll to the safe area view of itself and add some styles, and let's say padding horizontal, and it should be no, margin horizontal, and it should be 10. So now it's not exactly yeah, not exactly to the borders. I think it looks good. Okay, so what's next? We have a search input. We need to create again a state here. So let's import, let's create that. Let's give it a name, search value, set search value from use state from React. Make sure it's imported here. It's gonna be, once again, initialize as empty string, and let's pass here. Let's pass here a string. Let's save it, and to the text input, let's pass the value of search value, and on change text will be text and set search value with the text inside. Okay, now that's good. We are updating it. Everything is working. The last thing that's left for us to do is display a list of the communities. So first of all, let's import the groups from now the aliases would help as well. Assets, data, groups. Perfect. And under this one, we will create a flat list. And this flat list, we already as well talked about flat lists, will have data. And this data will be, for now, it will be, let's say, groups. And we need to also explain, like, okay, how do I render this data? Not curly. We need to return it right away. That's why it's simple. Yeah. Okay, wait, like this. Yes, so now we are gonna build the components. So first of all, they need to be pressable because once we click, something will happen once we click on them. Another thing is they will have an image of the group, and let's actually pass it right away. Source. Oh, I did not import it. React Native image. So if I go back here, say source URI, and it will be item.image, a group image, and lastly it will be text saying item.name. Let's save it. Okay, we can see already that we do see a list of these items. It's not styled, so let's quickly do that. First of all, let's style the image itself. So it's gonna have, actually the image is not even displayed because we forgot to add the width of 40, and yeah, the aspect ratio will have it as one, like this exactly. Perfect. So now let's add some more styles to this pressable itself. First things first, let's start with the easy one, flex direction. It needs to be in row. Another thing is that we need to align all of the items in the center. You've seen this one as well. As you can see, the text changed. We will also add some gap between them. So let's say 5. And we will also add under each of them, we'll add a margin only on the bottom part. And this margin will be like quite significant, something like 20 or like that. The image is also, oh, maybe that was loud. The image should also be rounded. So let's do 20. And yeah, I think the text needs some more styles from what I'm seeing. It should be at least font weight, let's say 600. And for now, that should be good enough. In the code example, you'll have also this on the bottom, recently visited rendered. And also you'll have here appear like a small icon when you type in order to remove it. But now how the filtering itself works. So here we can create a function basically called filtered groups. And what this will do is we will basically take these groups and we'll say, okay, so we need to filter them, not filter them. So how are we filtering? We're taking this group that we're checking now, and what we're doing is we're saying group, the name of the group. We need to make sure that they are made to lowercase, because you can name the group like this, and if you compare it in text without the capital letters, it will not match. Then we say includes, and then we say, okay, so if the search value here, so let's say search value, also we need to make sure it's two lowercase. Actually, we don't need to locale, two lowercase is enough. If it matches, that means it should go in here. So now if we copy this group, we need to pass it in the data of the flat list to always display only the filtered ones. So let's say if I go here and remove everything, it's gonna be displayed. If I say front-end developers or just developers, it's already matching very, very nicely. So yeah, actually in here, if I add one last thing just for good measure, I will add this clear. So if there is search value, we will display a small icon like this. Let me copy again from design. Like this. As you can see, it's barely visible, but that's how it is on the Reddit as well. And when you click on it, we will simply set the text as blank. Set, set search value, and we'll make it an empty string. So let's say if I, of course now I'll need to align it, but if I type it, it's already back to the default case. Of course, we need to push it a little bit to the side, and to do that, we can simply to the text input, because if I do background color red, it's taking up, like if you click on here, you are not focusing the text input. So what we need to do is simply call here flex 1 to take up the full space. And now if I remove this, even the icon, if I type, will be in the correct place. So here it is. And I think Vadim again disappeared. Not sure if for real, but I think so. Let's see. Yes, Vadim disappeared.
Am I back?
Yes, you are back.
Yeah, thank you very much. You are so focused when delivering.
Yeah. I don't look. I see that someone is typing, but
But that's good. How are you feeling?
good. Still would have liked to show like fully this one, because I was prepared to have this button like also like focused when it's like not be able to press when it's empty.
Which button?
Here the values, but
Oh,
it's not a lot, let's say.
but okay, that's good. But the group filtering from the UI is done, right?
Yes, the group filtering from the UI is done. Like actually not exactly, because if you scroll here, you see but it's very easy to fix it. So now it's no longer like it's here.
Okay.
And like I could add here a keyboard avoiding view, because now like keyboard will be on top of it, but
Give this as a homework.
yes, you can.
Because we saw how to use the keyboard avoiding view in the create new screen. So
Yeah.
try to replicate the same approach here.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I think that's mostly it for today. Of course, it will have as
I
far
would
as
recommend going for the global state.
now. Yeah, I can do it. It's very easy.
I think it's easy and it's very specific to front end.
Yep.
And
Okay.
the Jotai, like, I think it's
Just
easy.
let me do it. If people are still
Let's go.
here, let's
I
do
think
it.
people would love it.
So okay, let's do one last small thing. I just want to showcase like how easy it is to use. So we're done with this lesson once again. Let's go to, of course, Vadim covers this lesson. So let's go to global state management lesson and do it. So first of all, what is the problem? The main problem is that I am not in full screen. The second problem is that in order to allow users to select groups in group selector, and this selection to persist in the create screen, so like this group selector and create screen are totally different screens. They're so far from each other, and there's no way to like pass this data to each other to talk with each other. So it's a huge problem. And in order to solve it, we will use a thing called global state management. I write here a little bit more about that, but basically there are many global state management libraries available, such as like Redux, Recoil, Zustand, which is very popular right now, and Jotai, which is also popular. And for our case, Jotai is perfectly fits because it's a very simple, lightweight global state management library, which requires TLC almost no setup at all, and it's incredibly easy to use. It's basically the same as use state. So it's perfect for our small scale state management where we only need to pass this one piece of data. Okay, so how do we do that? First things first, let's set up the Jotai, which is simply installing it. So let's do this. Let's paste npx expo install Jotai. Okay, give it a second. We can see already what to do next. So in the source folder of our project, let's create a new file called atoms. So these atoms in Jotai are kind of like a use state, but it's a global state. They call them, well, atoms. So let's close it up a little bit. We'll not need this one. We can close for now tabs, protected. And inside the source, let's create a new file, as I said, atoms.tsx. And in here, the only thing that we need to do is as follows. Importing the atom from Jotai. So let's do that. And lastly, creating this atom, which is that easy. So basically what we do is we say export const, then we give a name to our atom. So we'll call it selected group, because that's what we will store, selected group atom. And we say simply that it should be an atom. You don't really need to define these types, but we are defining the type, so we will do. And you can also pass the default value to an atom just like to a use state. So in our case, it can be null, so we'll do like that. And that means that this, the types of this should be either a group from the types, because that's what we're storing, a group. So let's import it at the top. Import, not like this, group from the types. So it's either a group or a null. And that's it. That's nothing. We don't need to do anything else. We can now close this and forget about that atoms folder. So now how do we use this? So here I explain a bit more in the guide. What is it? And yeah, the usage. So now that we have this global state created, let's use it in both create state screen and group selector. Let's start with create screen, because in here we will need to read and also be able to set the group, basically use the read and set, just like a setter. So let's go on the top and import the atom from the atoms. So import, we say here, how did I call it? Where is it? Well, I said write and forget it, but selected group atom. So if we go here and say import selected group atom from, and we need to say that it should be imported from this folder that this file that we just created. So let's go 2-3 times back and we say from atoms. Perfect. Now, how do we use it? Well, in here in the example, and show you, as I show you, it is used exactly the same as a use state. So we can simply import the use atom from Jotai first. So let's do that. Import, once again, another hook, use atom from Jotai. Then go here where we have our states and exactly the same, call it, let's say, group, and set group. Then equals use atom, and we need to pass here which atom we're using, which atom. So basically the one that we created in the atoms.tsx, the same name, selected group atom. We imported it here, and now we're passing it here for the Jotai to know which atom are we using. Okay, perfect. So what we will do here in the select community part, we need to display here either a select community, or if the community is selected, we will be displaying the group. Okay, so now how do we do that? First things first, inside here, inside event pressable, we will open a JavaScript expression, basically say that, okay, we're using JavaScript expression group. And if there is a group, we will be returning a group image with a text. So for now, let's, not sure, like maybe I should do it with this. I'll explain later what are these tags. So in here we will say, okay, we will be needing an image of the group, and we will be needing a text. So the text will have a group name. So we'll be accessing the group from this atom, because we will be have it there stored. So let's say group.name. And for the image, we'll, as always, need source. Let's open it. The source will have a URI, and this URI will be it will be group.image. It's a group image. And also we'll be displaying here some like styles. Do I have it imported? Nope, of course I don't. So for the React Native, let's import image. Make sure it's from React Native. And yes, then we will be passing the style. And as always, image needs width, and we'll need height as well. So let's say width will be 20, and height, yeah, let's also make 20. For now, let's do like that. And also, yeah, don't mind this error for now. But we need to say, okay, so if the group exists, we show this, but what else? So if it doesn't exist, we will simply display what we had before, which is this part. So now what are these little squiggly things are that I'm adding here? These are kind of like an empty view or a div. You can use them when you don't really need a view and define like any styles, because as I told you before, this will be an error. You cannot render JSX expression, like, yeah, as it says here, must have only one parent element. So by adding these things, you're making sure that it's only one parent element, and you can have here inside as many as you want. So now we save, it's working. But now, of course, like we do not have any groups here. So we need to be able to select a group. So now we will go to the group selector screen. And in here, if we scroll down, we can see how to update the data. It's also very easy. First of all, we will import the same atom. So import group, how is it selected? Group atom from atoms. And we will import a little bit of a different hook from Jotai, and I'll explain why. So here we will import use set atom from Jotai instead of use atom. So why is it that? I explain it here as well. But basically, use atom subscribes to the that's a little bit for performance. So use atom subscribes to the component to both reading and writing. What does the group anywhere? It will still re-render the screen. So this use atom hook helps us to prevent that, and it just uses it to set the group. Here maybe I have like some better explanation, but yeah, you could either use like this, which is totally fine. It still works, but it's not very good for performance, let's say. So if we go back here, we define it just like const, just as a function, let's say set group, and we'll be using use set atom, and we'll be passing the selected group atom. So now, after the user presses on one of the groups, we need to make sure that we store this basically this group in this huge it's into the small atom. So how do we achieve that? We simply create a pressable. So let's clean it up here a little bit at least. Yes. again, like, don't mind me writing so many inline styles. I would probably extract this one as well, but I'm just trying to save your time. I don't want to bother you. You already saw how to do it. So yeah, sorry very much if it looks cluttered. So here we'll have on press, which will simply, when pressed, set group to what? Now, to what we should set? We could set to only the ID, to the whole object, to be honest, whatever you want. But what we need to do here is, first of all, take this item, and we will be setting the whole group to this. Okay, my words are starting to.
It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay.
So we'll be storing the whole group, but the problem here is that I'm taking not the not the actual item, but like this. No, wait. No. It's, I'm taking it correctly. Like, I don't need. Yeah. No,
You don't need
my
to
bad.
take
I
it.
don't need even to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I already have the item in here. So because I'm rendering here, not
Yeah.
sure why I was passing it here. But yeah, this is the group actually that we are rendering through filtered groups, if you remember. So by taking this item group, when it's pressed, we can very easily store it there. The problem now is that we are still, once we click and select a group here, we're still here. We're still not basically navigating back to where we need. So to solve this, let's quickly create one function, and let's call it on group selected. And let's make it a very simple function. First of all, we will set the group to the group that you will pass here. So group, later we'll fix the type problems. So let's pass it to group, and again we will need to, with the router, to go back, because we always know that the previous screen is going to be the select the post screen. We are 100% sure. And now we can go and pass this function instead of the set group. So now let's change on group select. We are passing the item that we are pressing on. And in here we can take that item, we're passing it to the actual set group global state management, and then we're navigating back. To solve this type issue, it's very easy. The only thing you need to do is import import group from types, and then we're saying, okay, so this group should be of type group. And if you remember, if you go here, type group is this small type. Perfect. So now if we save it and hold our fingers crossed, after going to select a community and selecting a community, we are seeing it here. Woohoo! Of course, the icon is, I need
That's
to fix this
amazing.
icon.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much the only thing that's left to do here is to add border radius, let's say 10, and voila, it's working.
That's impressive. So Jotai, like in simple terms, is the same use state, but not at the component level, but at global level that we can use from different components.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Let's finish up the styles. I cannot leave like that. And yeah, just like that, we are.
So now anywhere in our application where we need to know which is the currently selected group, like we can take it from there.
Yes, exactly. We can take this atom and basically, use it. So another thing that we need to do is, again, like, probably doesn't make sense. We need to have some sort of pop-up, but if you go back, because we're setting the title and the body text to blank, we will also set the group to a null group. So basically, it's up to you to decide if it's good or not, but to do it like that. But yeah, now if you press back, the group is no longer be selected. You'll need to select a new one.
Perfect. That's amazing.
Yeah. So let's see. So here, you can find the final group selector code on the bottom, and I think we did pretty well.
Done.
We did pretty well with all the tasks. You cannot even see the last two behind Vadim's camera, but we'll do them as well.
Yeah, like we managed. I mean, you, Lucas, managed. I'm not gonna take any credits here. I'm really impressed by how in depth you prepared everything. How do you feel?
Uh, Tired but excited. I enjoyed it. Showing it's nice.
I recommend leaving the last two tasks. Can you show us what we have to
Yes.
do there? That would be the image picker. We are going to
Um,
do
so yes, here you can see better. It will be the image picker and the comment section.
the image picker. We can do that as part of learning how to upload images when we will cover the backend
Mhm.
and the comment section as well. Like we can do it next time.
Yes. Yep.
But for people who are interested, the code is there. So take it as a homework and try to do it yourself. I think
Yes.
that would be a great opportunity for everyone as well.
Yep. Yep. Definitely yes. Agree. And
All right.
also, quick notice that we, as I told, like we skip through very very small things as like highlighting this button or not highlighting. So if you want, just go to like image, for example, and find the final code for this as well, or just to group selector and here. No, I mean to global state management, and you find the full code for like group selector and all of the things with these small things implemented as well.
And also, the source code is going to be available. Check it out in the description below. Lucas is going to put it. We're going to put it on GitHub, and you're
Yep.
going to have access to everything.
Yep.
Um, So that's it for today. Next week we're gonna continue this build with a backend. I asked the people, and people wanted. They were split between Superbase and Node.js backend. And if you
Okay.
want to know like what we're gonna use, like you'd have to join next week.
Yep. I will join as well.
Definitely. All right. So thank you very much, Lucas, for doing this. I think it was impressive. Like this quality, like it's crazy. Like you didn't take any shortcuts. You covered everything in depth. You explained everything that you did. And in the end, like this is like such an amazing application. So well done. And
Thank you.
um,
Thank you.
I would like to encourage everyone to show some encouragement to Lucas. I'm not sure if uploading we would hear it, but you can do that for some likes, for some comments down below.
Yeah.
I encourage saying like Lucas is the best.
I, yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. And yeah, thank you also for staying with me. To all the viewers, to you, Vadim, and I really appreciate that. Hopefully, we'll meet soon, very soon.
We will definitely do that. And lastly, I'd like to say thank you to Clerk,
Thank
which
you.
is the sponsor of today's video and which made it possible. With Clerk, you saw how easy it is to implement authentication and user management, and that saved us a lot of time, and it can save you as well. So make sure join Clerk. We will link in the description below, and implement authentication the right way.
Yes.
Okay, I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yep.
Guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel, not to miss our future videos. We're gonna have, as you can guess, twice as much content, tutorials. With the help of Lucas, we're both going to stream. Most probably, you're gonna see Lucas alone more often as well. Um, and maybe we're gonna do even together some stuff. But that
Yeah.
the only thing that we know it is we're gonna have more content, more tutorials for you guys. So make sure to subscribe to keep up to date.
Yep.
Thank you once again, Lucas.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Vadim.